You've probably seen this advice everywhere. For the absolute best online privacy, you need to use a VPN with the Tor browser. It sounds like it makes sense, right? More layers equals more security. But is that actually true? Let's dig in. So here's the dilemma. You've got these huge, popular tech channels swearing by this method, telling you it's the gold standard. But then you have the people who actually built Tor, the Tor project themselves, saying, no, don't do that. So who's right? That's the conflict we're going to unravel right now. And believe me, people are asking. If you Google this topic, you get millions of results. It's a huge question in the privacy community. The popular thinking is pretty simple. Just add a VPN as an extra layer before you even touch the Tor network. Now, the logic, it seems sound on the surface. If you connect to Tor directly, your internet service provider, your ISP, knows you're using it. Now, they can't see what you're doing, but they see the connection. The whole argument is that by putting a VPN in front, you're hiding that Tor usage from your ISP's prying eyes. But to really get why this might be a bad idea, you have to understand how different these two things are. A VPN is centralized. Your traffic goes through one server, a single hop, that's run by a single company. Tor, on the other hand, is totally decentralized. It bounces your connection through 3 random, volunteer-run servers, wrapping your data in 3 separate layers of encryption. It's kind of like chaining 3 VPNs together, but it's actually much better because those servers are run by completely different people all across the globe. So this brings us to the most important question of all. Do you even need to hide your Tor usage from your ISP? And the answer to that really depends on your threat model, which is just a fancy way of saying, who are you actually trying to hide from?
Generally speaking, people worried about their ISP seeing a Tor connection fall into 2 main groups. The first group, people living in countries with intense censorship who are just trying to get to the real open internet. The second group are what you might call high-value targets. Think investigative journalists, activists, people who need serious anonymity from really powerful organizations. Okay, let's tackle censorship first. If you're in a place like Iran or China, where the government actively blocks Tor, the problem isn't that your ISP sees you're using Tor, it's that the government stops you. And for this, Tor already has a brilliant solution built right in. It's called an obfuscated bridge. These are special secret entry points to the network that disguise your traffic to look like something totally normal.
And this is exactly why a VPN is pretty useless here. Think about it. A government that's sophisticated enough to build something like China's Great Firewall is also incredibly good at finding and blocking unauthorized VPNs. The only VPNs that tend to work reliably in those places are the ones the government has approved, which, completely defeats the whole point of using one for privacy. So no real advantage there.
All right, so what about our second group? The people involved in really high-stakes stuff, who might have an agency like Interpol on their tail. Surely for them, an extra layer of VPN protection has to be a good thing, right? Well, not so fast.
We have a lot of real-world examples of how these kinds of people get caught. And it is almost never, ever, because Tor itself was broken. The real danger, the thing that gets people caught time and time again, is much simpler. It's human error. In the security world, we call this OPSEC, for operational security. Just look at the founder of the Silk Road, the guy known as Dread Pirate Roberts. He wasn't tracked down because of some flaw in Tor's encryption. He got caught because, years earlier, he'd used his personal Gmail address on a public forum to ask a coding question while trying to promote his site. That one little digital breadcrumb was all it took to link his real self to his anonymous one. And here's another one, a hacker who went by Pom Pom Purin. He was caught after he shared his real Gmail address in some private messages that the FBI later got their hands on. The pattern is crystal clear. People get caught because they make a mistake. They cross the streams and fail to keep their real life and their anonymous life completely 100% separate. And this is the point where that popular advice goes from being just unnecessary to being actively dangerous. Combining a VPN with Tor doesn't just fail to add protection, it can actually make you a much bigger target. Just think about it visually. Every single day, millions of people connect directly to the Tor network. All of their traffic just blends together into this massive anonymous crowd. But the number of people connecting to Tor through a VPN first, it's a tiny, minuscule fraction of that. Your traffic pattern suddenly becomes incredibly unique, which means you are now sticking out like a sore thumb. I mean, put yourself in the shoes of a federal agent who's watching internet traffic. What are they going to look at first? The millions of connections that all look exactly the same, or the one weird, super paranoid-looking connection that's going to extreme lengths to add extra layers. You've just flagged yourself as someone interesting. And once you're on their radar, a powerful adversary might not even bother with a sophisticated technical attack. They might just use the law to force your VPN company to give up your data. Or they might use what's grimly called the $5 wrench method, which is just a way of saying they'll use real-world force to get what they want. No software in the world can protect you from that. So if paying for a VPN to use with Tor is not just a waste of money, but also a bad idea, what's a better way to spend that cash to actually boost your privacy?
Well, for about the same $5 a month that you'd spend on a typical VPN, you could rent a cheap little server and run your very own Tor relay. Instead of paying a company that creates a single point of failure, you'd be directly contributing to the strength of the very network that protects you.
The upsides here are massive. First, it helps your own traffic blend in even more. Second, you are actively helping people all over the world who depend on Tor for their safety and their freedom. And third, you're making the entire network stronger for everybody, adding another safe server and lowering the chances that anyone's connection would ever pass through 3 bad nodes. It's a win for you, and it's a win for the entire community. So when you boil it all down, what's the real goal of anonymity? It's not about building a fortress so tough that no one can get in. It's about being a needle in a haystack that's already full of needles. Using Tor the way it was designed lets you disappear into a crowd of millions. Tossing a VPN in front of it just makes you the one shiny, different-looking needle that's begging to be found.